Gives me a great pleasure to introduce Dr. V Manjunath sir. He is the resource person of today's two sessions, morning sessions. Dr. V Manjunath obtained his MSc degree in agricultural economics from University of Agricultural Sciences, Bengaluru, and an international MSc degree in rural development, Erasmus Mundus Fellow from University of Ghent, Belgium. He holds a doctoral degree in agricultural economics, DAAD Fellow from Justus Liebig University, Jessen, Germany. He has completed several state, national, and international projects and has been involved in drafting policy documents for the state and central governments. Some notable contributions are Karnataka Sustainable Development Goals, Vision 2030, Economic Survey of Karnataka, various reports, various years, Human Development Report of Karnataka, Micro Irrigation Policy, Karnataka's $1 trillion Gross Domestic Product Vision, and so on. He has published research work in high-ranking journals, conferences, and leading national newspapers. He is serving as a faculty of ISAC since July 2012, in which he served as a director at Karnataka Monitoring and Evaluation Authority, Government of Karnataka, for a period of 5 years from September 2019. He also served as an additional chief evaluation officer as an additional charge for a year. Currently, he is an associate professor and head at the Center for Ecological Economics and Natural Resources, Institute for Social and Economic Change, Bengaluru. A heartily welcome to you, sir. Now the class is, you have to take the class.
Thank you for introducing me for a wonderful introduction. Today, I am going to discuss about two topics: monitoring, evaluation, and learning of schemes and projects. The other, if time permits, I will also try to present on difference in writing, how to write a report, how to write a paper. I will also show you some examples how the content should be by taking my own example in the publication ecosystem. If you look at monitoring, evaluation, and learning, now see why this is so important to all the PhD students as well as faculty. I feel see, this is if you are very good at monitoring and evaluation, easily you can get a job. Easily you can get projects. When you get projects, when you get work, you know it is very easier for you to publish on the projects or on the work also. One thing nowadays, if you look at last 7 to 8 years, you know this monitoring and evaluation has become very important to all academicians, research institutes. You know, like government is spending so much of money on several projects, whether it might be capital expenditure or beneficiary oriented program. Now, every time, wherever you are, whether you are in CMDR, you are in some university, you know, there is a lot of demand for, okay, can you do a study on evaluation of this scheme? Maybe if you take National Food Security Mission, Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana, or if you take some self-help group microfinancing scheme, like that, you know, if you take Swachh Bharat, you have a lot of demand, you know, demand for monitoring as well as evaluation, both evaluation. My sound is audible, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. And you can ask also in between if you have any doubts, questions, you can ask. And I will also ask you some questions in between so that it will be interactive. Though I am sitting in Bangalore, you are sitting in Dharwad. Let us have some kind of interactive discussion also. I hope, I think you can talk also from your end. In this direction, you know, now if you look at the Government of India schemes, there are central sector schemes, centrally sponsored schemes, there is a policy in government of India that every scheme within its planned period, for example, if a scheme is designed and developed for 5 years, within that period, you should submit both monitoring report as well as evaluation report. This is very much required if the scheme has to be extended for the next 5 years or next 3 years. If you don't have an evaluation or monitoring report, no scheme in government of India will be extended without a monitoring and evaluation report. In this context, I tell you, every scheme, if you look at your own state, wherever you are from, whether you are from Kerala or Andhra Pradesh, but when you look at states, I have told about the government of India, I am now telling about the states. In states also, every department, it is not compulsory in the states to get a monitoring and evaluation done. But in case of some states, there is a policy. For example, if you take Karnataka state, every state scheme, if it is more than 100 crores in a year, if a budget is more than 100 crores in a year, then such projects or such schemes will be evaluated, should be compulsorily evaluated. That is what a strict policy is there. When there is a policy, there is always a compulsion. When it goes to finance department, from the implementing department to the finance department immediately, if there is no evaluation report, they will not take it forward. They will tell that, okay, you should submit the evaluation report. Otherwise, it will not be taken up. But many other states, they don't have such compulsion. States, based on their need, based on the if there are any issues, if the program is not really, if the performance of the program is not really good in terms of physical and financial performance, then only they will ask for a evaluation. Okay, this is from the policy perspective I am telling. If there is a policy, compulsorily, how many number of schemes, if you Karnataka alone, if you take 1,000 schemes, but government of India, you think, every state, you think, if you take Kerala or Andhra Pradesh or many schemes are there. Now for them, the inputs from the monitoring and evaluation is very, very important for mid-course policy corrections. If a program, many times what happens, the politicians or departments will announce programs without doing some homework. I am not telling it is always so, but many times, most of the times, they new programs, without some homework, like how many beneficiaries, whether there is a need for this program, if the program is there, what should be the guidelines? If you take Karnataka's guarantee programs, I think most of you might have heard about freebies and guarantee programs. Guarantee programs, when it was designed, when it was announced, they did not know how to implement it actually. Why? What might be the reason? Why they could not implement immediately after the program is announced? What might be the reasons? Can anybody tell? Can anybody answer?
Sir, please come again, sir. I missed something.
Implementation of guarantee programs. Government has announced some program. You take any program, government has announced the program. Now it has to implement the program. Like, in many cases, what happens, it is very difficult to implement programs immediately. It will take little time lag, maybe 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. What are the challenges which they face in order to implement a program? Anybody who can speak?
Availability of fund.
Fund.
Sir,
availability of funds, sir.
Okay, okay. See,
Yes.
many cases what happens, okay, fund is one thing which is very important. See, why I am telling, why I am asking this question is, see, many times what happens, you know, the programs are announced without looking at what is the need, how many beneficiaries, what might be the financial requirement, all those things. They don't have much information on these things. When they announce, if they want to implement guidelines, what should be the guidelines, all those things, you know, they in the beginning it is very difficult to get all. They don't do much homework to exactly look at all these estimates. Because of that, especially kicking off any program or scheme takes little time, especially if you take guarantee program, such a huge program for women, youth, even this ration card, all those things to implement, they need data. Why they need data? Because you know, they need how many number of benefits. How, see, if this program is implemented, what is the quantity of beneficiaries? What is the unit cost? You know, who will be the beneficiaries? Maybe like, okay, whether we should give only for people who have BPL card, whether people who are unemployed. You know, there is something, you know, you need data to calculate exactly what is the how many are the number of beneficiaries if the scheme is implemented, what is the unit cost, and then you know exactly what is the budget required. Otherwise, what happens, you know, it is very difficult for a program to implement, you know, because of the budgetary constraint. Okay, I have budget, but the thing is, if I don't have exact information how to implement it, it is whether it is direct benefit transfer, uh, and whenever you are implementing, also you should not land up in controversy. Also, you know, like the guidelines should be such a way that it should serve the needy people. You know, needy people. That is how, that is why, you know, it is difficult. Okay. Since there is not much homework before announcing any program, afterwards they face difficulties. Then they try to work out. Actually, they would try to work out. In many cases, you know, if the budget is no budget of Karnataka, recently budget was there. Actually, you know, when it comes to implementation of this some schemes, it will take 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. Even till December, there is nothing like, okay, it is very difficult for them because they don't have clear clarity. That is why in case of some of the government of India programs, what they will do is they will do a need assessment, ex ante evaluation. Also they do. They go to people who are needy, who are deserving. If they want to announce a program, they will go to them. They will ask, okay, what is your problem? Like, what can be done in order to, for example, if you take poverty, what is that you want? Maybe if they ask for, okay, we want to have some income generating credit facility. Then the income generating facility means, then they will assess, okay, what might be such income generating ventures in a particular region. Then they will come out with a program that, okay, in this region, this is the enterprise. Maybe you can take automobiles, or you take electronics, or you take something on the carpenter, many professions are there. Actually, based on that, some kind of entrepreneurial support can be given with subsidy support. See, this is what they go to the people, they ask the need, what is it. If you do such exercise, and if you have also database exactly, oh, these many number of beneficiaries, if we announce this program, these many beneficiaries will be there, then these beneficiaries, I think, okay, this much budget is required. Then you will not have much issues with mobilization of resources. Now you see in Karnataka, because of the guarantee programs, it is very, because they need money, they did not think that so much of money will be accounted for these guarantee programs. But now, okay, it is consuming significant amount of budgetary resources. Now they are trying to see how the additional resources can be mobilized. Maybe, for example, increase in the land values, guidance values is one increase in Then sometimes, you know, regularization of some kind of lands which are not having any plan or maybe anything. You regularizing by with the payment of some amount of money. Like that, they try to see. Then asset monetization, utilizing utilizing the underutilized and unutilized assets and land and building. You know, these are all some avenues. When the budget is scarce, people started looking at, okay, how to get okay, increasing taxes on increasing the prices of on alcohol. These are all some ways to see that the additional resources, because, you know, they have announced the program and now they have to implement. That is why there is something, you know, that is why whenever there is a evaluation, or there is also ex ante evaluation. Many people doesn't know there is ex ante evaluation. For instance, to give an example, a rice breeder come out with a rice variety which was very good, which was giving a 30 to 40% higher yield compared to the normal traditional hybrid varieties. It was also giving lot of straw, actually, additional 40 to 50% additional straw, which would help the livestock farmers. But it did not, the consumers did not accept it, because the breeder did not control the smell, you know, the bad smell which comes when the rice is cooked. You know, people don't like some kind of, you know, they need good smell, you know, good smell, good odor. That is why, you know, like though the scientists succeeded in increasing the yield, succeeded in increasing the you know, even straw, but he could not succeed in you know, reducing the odor, you know, giving some kind of good odor to the paddy. You know, this is something I am giving example. You know, you spend so much, because why you have to, what consumer prefer. If you come out with such trait of varieties, such variety of paddy, then easily consumers will be accepted. Because you know, that is why you need to get access to needs, and accordingly this, if you look at importance, you know, now I told you the public expenditure, you know, a surge in public expenditure driven by economic growth resulted in a growing demand for monitoring and evaluation. Now every department, even international donors for their projects, even companies has to spend 2% of their budget for developmental works. Even them also, for the CSR activities also, they are asking for monitoring and evaluation, because this is compulsory as per policy. Now this because of all this you know, importance and need, nowadays, you know, it is more and more monitoring and evaluation you know, like is asked for, actually, to the universities, organizations. You know, many of the PhD topics nowadays, you know, the impact of NREGA, they will take a topic, impact of some other scheme on nutrition, you know, like that. You know, even PhD topics also. And faculty also, you know, faculty who are attending nowadays, you know, people tell, oh, please see, Kalyana Karnataka is not developing so much as expected. What might be the reason? So much of fund is being pumped into Kalyana Karnataka, but still so much of I think developments are not on par with what is expected. Please let us know what should we do, actually. In such cases, you know, this monitoring and evaluation, monitoring during the project and evaluation after the project completion is very important. And learnings, many a times what happens in research, we do a lot of projects, but when it comes to the using that research output, I think less than 5% of the research output is being utilized. You know, many of our research, you know, it is in shelves, you know, in the libraries, you know, it is not really, some of the research outputs are not available in the public domain at all, you know. Now I think there is a disconnect between there is a disconnect between the academia, then government, private. You know, this disconnect should be strengthened, so that whatever government needs, if academic institutions and private should cooperate to see that okay how it can be met. But similarly, whatever private needs, if academic institution does whatever they need, then I think this connect can be strengthened. Even whenever we do, even if you look at some of the institutes like Indian Institute of Sciences, they make open days. Open days is for, you know, like they disseminate all the research. They call policymakers, they call even international you know organizations to see what they have done, what are their findings, whether it is a new technology or new research. You know, all these things happens. Learnings, you see, apart from monitoring and monitoring and evaluation, I am telling learning also. Learnings should enter as a feedback, you know, enter as a feedback whenever we do a lot of research. But ultimately, if it is in thesis or report form, only I think okay, hardly people read, you know, hardly people read, hardly people get a chance to read the entire. You know, you need to translate into papers in terms of you know scientific papers or in terms of policy briefs. You know, many times, you know, it is very difficult for the bureaucrats and the private to get to read the entire paper. In such cases also, you need to come out with policy briefs, maybe 3 page, 4 page, attractive, you know, so that, you know, people read, and it should be made available to the public domain. That is where I think the research output can be even cited by so many people, you know, and you know your ideas from your research can be a path breaking change, can bring path breaking change in a program scheme or you know policy also. That is why you need to see that how much of my you know research, whether it is a simple research or complicated research, but it should be you know so it should be published, you know, it should be published. There is a saying that publish or perish, like that, you know, you need to, you know, if you look at the next aspect, next is need for evaluation, because the evaluation I already told what is the need, you know, like see whenever we see it, the positive and negative primary and secondary long-term effects produced by a development intervention, directly or indirectly, intended or unintended. You know, many times what we do is we only look at intended, you know, what is visible, what is intended. Some are unintended also. Some are unintended. You need to see, for example, I always give an example of the honeybee farming and this sunflower, you know, sunflower are cross-pollinated crops. Usually, see, honeybee, there is a scheme called honeybee cultivation, something like that. There is a scheme on honeybee, honey. On the other hand, there is also like boosting oil seeds in, there is also another scheme. A oil seed farmer, for example, sunflower, if you take sunflower farmer, he has grown sunflower by taking subsidy from the government. At the same time, there is also a honeybee farmer next to him, without knowing that he is growing sunflower, or without knowing the benefit from him, he is growing, you know, he is cultivating this honeybee farming, beekeeping. They call it as beekeeping. You know, beekeeping. He is doing beekeeping. Because of the sunflower yield, if you take sunflower yield has increased, you know, by 30% to the sunflower farmer. But he never thought that okay, this bees will help in our for cross pollination to increase the yields. Many a times, you know, like we think that oh, we take only increase in yield because of the hybrid seed is 30%, 40%. There might be also some chances that okay, there is a honeybee beekeeping enterprise which is being taken up by the neighboring farmer, which is helping for cross pollination. That cross pollination has increased yield. You know that, you know, many times, you know, the problem is we need to see what exactly from a particular intervention because of the hybrid seed, how much is the yield. We have to see. But now there is also like one more impact which is coming from the honeybee, you know, that how much is from honeybee, how much is from the hybrid. You need to disassociate the impact of honeybee as well as the hybrid, you know. So, you know, this is something very important. Otherwise, you know, you give very high figure high figures, and they don't, even the research itself says 10%, but the yield has increased 30%. Then what is that 30%? How did this increase? All these you have to nitty-gritties you have to think of. That is why, whenever you are looking not only positive, you should look at negative also. You should look at intended, unintended. All these things are very important when it comes to the impact evaluation. See, I just plotted a graph actually, graph. Many a times, what happens, we spend a lot of money on the plantation activities. Government also gives roughly around 80,000 hectares of plantation is being done by the state government of Karnataka every year. In addition to that, they also distribute free seedling. But if you look at these graphs, this blue color is cumulative plantation raised. This is this graph is this black color one is annual plantation raised, and annual plantation raised. In square, everything is in square kilometer. Then this orange color is, this is forest cover. If you look at every year there is more or less 8,800, 926, 6. There is increase. There is increase in the plantation area. That means the scheme, as per the scheme, they are planting approximately 804 in 2009. If you take in 2016, 644. But every year there is. But if you take cumulative of the same figures, see, 5,872 square kilometers area should have been increased. But if you look at if you look at the forest cover, see, forest cover has not increased so much when you look at this cumulative graph. That means what happens, by looking at this data itself, you can think that, okay, we need to see why, though we are planting so much, we are distributing so much of seedling, why the forest cover is not increasing. Forest cover is not. Forest cover, in my case, you take green cover also. Forest cover plus green cover. Why it is not increasing? Sometimes data will also tell us actually to do some kind of evaluation. Why it is not? Maybe whatever they are planting, the survival rate is maybe low. Because there is no water facility, in the initial stages, you have to put a lot of water. I think who will go to inside the forest and then water every time, whether there is some kind of alternate arrangements like drip or sprinkler, all these things you have to see for the survival. When you do evaluation only, you will know what exactly has happened actually. That is why sometimes data also speaks. Why the forest area or tree cover is not increasing commensurate with the benefit, whatever benefits they are giving. They are planting so much, 8,000, 80,000 hectares, and even they are distributing free seedling. Sometimes this data also will tell us we need to do some kind of evaluation. For example, if you take farmer suicides, why farmers are, despite so many programs and all, why farmers commit suicides? Why, pulses productivity is almost 50% of all India productivity. All these things also require, there are pulses schemes. Why it is not? These are all some areas where, see, for example, child marriages. Why child marriages is increasing despite so many programs, so many helplines? Why malnutrition is almost very high, even to extent of 40 to 45% in North Karnataka. In many states, the malnutrition is, it is for malnutrition, undernutrition is 35-40%, but some regions have only less than 10%. What is the reason? All these things, all these things will require research, require probe. There will be something, like from the government efforts, private efforts will be there, civil society efforts will be there, but still, some things we are unable to change. Why we are unable to change? We need to look at, just I gave one example how data speaks. Always I tell, we had all kinds of revolution. Now we need data revolution. When we have data, we can accurately plan, what we want to do and what budgetary resources are required. If you don't have data, then how will you plan? How will you plan? It is difficult to plan. Like we need to know each individual household what is exactly they require. If we exactly know their information, we can plan properly. Accordingly, the benefits will go to the deserving. Otherwise, many times it is only, so okay, come with a program, just like you allocate some budget. You don't know whether it is required, not required. That is why many times there is a mismatch. Some programs they spend 100%. Additionally, they want also, but they are not getting. Some projects they are unable to spend. This kind of mismatches are happening because of the data gaps. Whenever it comes to impact evaluation, always the people have two approaches. If you take whenever there is an intervention, for example, if you take midday meal scheme, if midday meal scheme, okay, because of midday meal scheme, what is the increase in the attendance percentage? What is the reduction in the dropout rates? Like that, when you look at midday meal scheme, but you need to see also some schools in the same area where midday meal scheme is not implemented. This will tell us two situations. One is before, what was the outcomes, like learning outcomes, impact on learning outcomes, dropouts, and impact on attendance. But you have to before, what was the situation, now what is the situation, and you should also look into some control. We always, in social science research, we take control because we want to see also, if a class is being given a midday meal scheme, the same school, another school in the same region is not given midday meal scheme. If we compare in terms of the teacher strength, in terms of all those things, all other things remain same. Real impact of the midday meal scheme, we can get it actually. We call it as before, after, and without. Before implementation of midday meal scheme, and after implementation, and with there is school with midday meal scheme, there is school without midday meal scheme. The differences will give us the real impact. We have to collect data at 2 points of time for both schools. That is where we will know exactly what is the impact. What is the impact of this particular midday meal scheme. Similarly, you take any example from any domain. Any domain, we have to use this kind of many. What is the problem for the researcher is searching for control school. That means the school which is not we have not done intervention for the school. That's selecting such school is very important. Maybe if you select a school where the teachers are highly competent, there are more teachers, less students, our infrastructure is very good, they have also ICT facility. If you select such schools and compare with the midday meal scheme, like midday meal scheme, school might, the outcomes might be less. That is why you have to select almost same kind of schools in the same region. All other factors should be same, so that we can select such schools so that we get the actual impact. Selecting such people is very, very for example, if you increase learning outcomes, maybe if one more example to give, a students going to school, but students going to tuitions. If you don't collect information on tuitions, then again there will be like under reporting. Some are going for tuition, maybe he is not attending, but still like he is getting more marks. Whenever you are planning a research design, you need to collect very comprehensive information. Maybe it may not be because of midday meal scheme, it may be something else also, which is attracting him to go to school. You need to collect all such information. That is why you have to basically the counterfactual, the there is intervention, with intervention, without intervention. You have to be very careful while selection, and before and after also, and you have to be very careful in selecting before benefit, after benefit. What is the change? Some of the key issues I already explained. Like what is that? There is no like usually there are many techniques. Where you can you can use to estimate the impact of a particular intervention. Whether it may be descriptive, it may be you can use regression, you can use correlation, you can use many other techniques. Techniques. The most important technique which people use is difference in difference approach, which I explained to you just now, which is called the DID approach. Before, after, with, without, we have to take both for the beneficiaries as well as non-beneficiaries, and we have to calculate the impact. That impact will be divided of time and as well as space. If you look at this, different the main difference between monitoring and evaluation is like monitoring is always like ongoing, performance focused, course corrections, implementing and funding agency. Evaluation is mostly exposed, learning focused, design improvement, third party. Many times the government will not do this task because they should not do, because they always whoever implements they will not tell to like to give bad remarks on a particular program. They always tell good things. That is why third party who is not involved in implementing, or who is not involved with the government, they should do the third party evaluation. Both monitoring and evaluation is done basically to increase accountability, efficiency, and effectiveness. When it comes to, see, many times what happens in research, people tell, okay, you should have a theory, you should have conceptual framework, and your research not only should look at theoretical literature, I should also look at empirical literature. Like that, there is a lot of things. Even in impact evaluation, there is something called theory of change. We always look at, actually. What I gave example of the midday meal scheme. Many factors might influence. Even if you take undernutrition, malnutrition, many factors might influence. Many programs might influence. Many stakeholders might influence. If you consider all these interactions, both one way, two way, we call it as theory of change. See, theory of change always shows bigger picture with all possible pathways, messy and complex. But logical framework, for example, if you give meals, it will take, okay, meal is being given, what has happened actually? Oh, immediately the attendance has increased. The immediate output is attendance has increased. Okay, when attendance has increased, what else? Okay, attendance has increased, learning outcomes have improved. I was getting 70%, now he is getting 90%. What is the final goal? Okay, since he has completed his graduation, or he has completed some education, he could able to get job. These are all some things. The ultimate aim of studying is job, right? We have to get a job, a decent job, decent job. Like that, the logical framework will logically look at each intervention and see what is the impact of each intervention, from activity to output, output to outcome, and output to outcome to goal. This is what they look at. See, many times activities are required. Many times people don't know exactly what are the programs, what are the subsidies, all those things. You need information. Awareness is very important. That is why information, communication, education is very important. You have to do activities. If even people, attending a training program, even if people encourage in your universities or colleges, very few people, okay, tell I voluntarily that I want to go for. Why these people are going, why other people are not going. You need to create awareness. So if you go to this training program, you will learn more. You can use that in your research. Maybe that will shape your career, in a very different trajectory, which you never would have imagined. That would have changed. That would change. Impact of training program is like that. After going to you can write a proposal, you got a very big project. or you know this technique, you know monitoring and evaluation. If you put it in your CV, you got a job because you know monitoring and evaluation. You know, everywhere this is being used actually. You take government, you have jobs. If you take international organization, NGOs, they're all doing this job. You know, this is now, it is like learning econometrics, analytics. You know, it is also like monitoring and evaluation. If you know how to do it, the methodology of monitoring and evaluation, you know, it is easier for you to like get visibility, job, everything. You know. No, if you look at this result-based monitoring and evaluation, I already explained that, okay, see, it will start with inputs, then activities. You have to do activities for anything, you know, immediately. What are inputs? You need financial resources, human resources, and material resources. All these three are very important when it comes to inputs. Okay, when I have all these, may not be that, okay, immediately like my inputs will translate to output. It may not actually. You have to do some activities. You know, in villages, what happens, whether it is Kerala, Andhra Pradesh, or any other state, you know, they village panchayats, their radio programs, you know, TV, there are so many schemes, you know, like there will be awareness creation, you know, awareness. They have to spend some money for the awareness creation. Then, okay, some people will come forward, some people don't, you know, they don't want to participate. You know, this happens. You know, this happens. That means you have to do activities. Activities are very important for translating inputs to output. That means adoption. You take any technology for adoption. If you don't give information in terms of taking people to the wherever technology is modern. For instance, if you take, okay, in agriculture, we make Krushi Melas. Krushi Mela, you know, farmers will be taken to Krushi Melas to see technologies. Otherwise, they don't know. They will not adopt these technologies. For anything, you have to do activities. Activities are important. Then, when a person adopts or participates in particular program. For example, if you take training program itself, I told you have come for a training program in methodology. Later, that training program will help you to get projects. Will help you to get job. You know, this is something outcome of, see, output is since you have got awareness about this methodology course, you have attended this training program. Output, immediate output is that. Outcome is you have got a job, you have got a skill set which will help you to, you know, get good job, then more income is, you know, it will impact on the well-being is the long-term impact. You know, well-being is a long-term impact. I think you are connected. When it comes to any kind of impact evaluation, you need to look at all these input, activities, output, outcomes. Many a times we don't know the exact difference between the outputs and outcomes. In the government as well as in the academic line, people think output also same, outcome is also some, even impact also same. There is a difference. After this course, you want to use you want to use these terms. You need to be very clear whether it is output, whether it is outcome, whether it is a goal. If you know this you know, change, you know, it will help actually to understand, you know, put properly. We as academicians, if we ourselves don't know what is the thin line of difference between all these items, then difficult for us actually, difficult, you know, in the loosely using some particular concept without knowing it, how to use, then see, impacts are always long term. It is not, sir. The immediate outputs, outcomes, we will get it. We will get it from a project or a scheme, but the long-term impact is always, you know, livelihood, improvement in the livelihood, improvement in nutrition. When you give the midday meal scheme, immediately nutrition will not increase. Immediately, you know. Immediate output is, okay, attendance will improve. But the long-term impact is improvement in the nutritional status is long-term. If he drinks milk or, you know, whatever it is, you know, you cannot see a great change immediately after 1 week or 2 weeks. It will require some time, you know, maybe every intervention has some residual time, some gestation period. That after that gestation period, actually, we could see the impact See, otherwise, in the short run, we don't usually see that impact. It is something which you need to. When it comes to the, these steps are very important. Every intervention will have these many steps. This is very important because to identify the indicators. Otherwise, we miss indicators. Otherwise, we will be disorganized, unorganized in designing our research framework. That is why in designing our evaluation framework, you need to have these many steps. Similarly, when it comes to evaluation criteria, we have to see for each intervention whether it is relevant, whether it is efficient. For example, I tell you, okay, whether midday meal scheme is effective, or whether midday meal scheme is relevant to increase the learning outcomes or literacy, whether it is effective, whether it is efficient, whether it is sustainable, whether it generates impact, whether it has equity implication, all these things. I will tell about coherence now itself, but these are all important. These are all important. When we question ourselves, when we are doing something, whether it is relevant, whether it is effective, whether it is efficient, whether it is sustainable, lot of mistakes can be avoided. Lot of mistakes can be avoided. And the indicators, we call it as the KPIs, key performance indicators, can be developed easily. Sometimes, if you don't, if you miss efficiency, means then I think as economists, okay, your research has addressed whether it is effective, but whether it is efficient, you have not analyzed. What is the difference between effectiveness and efficiency? Can anybody tell what is the difference between effectiveness and efficiency? I am telling you, you are all effective. You are all effective in your performance. You are getting promotions. You are getting good marks. If it is students, what is efficient? Anybody?
Sir, efficiency is nothing but how much a person can do. That is efficiency. Effectiveness means how well he can execute that.
See, being a students of social science and faculty of social science, there is a difference. I am giving a simple example. For example, graduation. A person will take a graduation period is 3 years. 3 years. If I take, for example, 3 years. Many students will complete graduation in 3 years. At the same time, there are people who take additional 1 year, additional 2 years to complete. Maybe some 4, some 5. But when it comes to overall, the overall objective, if I consider, okay, all students, 100 students should, if the strength is 100, all 100 students have completed the graduation. Who is effective? Who is efficient? Out of 100 students, 90 students have passed within 3 years. They have completed their course. 10 students, they took additional 1 year. But I am making a statement, all 100 students are effective because they have graduated. Okay. Can we say they are efficient? All 100 students are efficient?
Never, sir.
No, sir.
Why?
Because the other 10 had not enjoyed the fruit.
Other 10 has taken additional 1 year to complete graduation.
Yes, sir.
See, the difference between effective is, okay, see, all of you have completed taking this example itself. Some have taken 4 years, many have taken 3 years. The overall objective, graduation. There is no time limit. If you take overall effectiveness, all are effective because they have completed graduation. But if you take 90 people completed in within a stipulated time, the other 10 have taken additional 1 year. If you take this, 90 people are efficient, not 100. But when it comes to effectiveness, 100 are effective. See, within a given time, if you complete a task, complete this one, time is also money, right? Time is also money, right?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
That is why, see, always efficiency means you will have numerator, denominator. For with limited budget, whether I achieved an objective. For example, if you take this is one example I told. Another example also, if you see with limited budget, if I achieve an objective, maybe with 1 crore, but the same another group of people they achieve the target with 2 crore, both are effective in achieving the target. But the one who has achieved the target with limited budget is efficient, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that is what the difference. You need to we also in here also what we do is sometimes we tell we effective, sometimes efficient. You need to be very careful while writing your objectives. While writing your work, whatever research work which you do, whether it is a project or thesis, there is a difference. Effectiveness and efficiency. Effectiveness is just achieving the targets. Like efficiency is within limited time, within stipulated time, or within limited budget, or this numerator and denominator matters. That is why some people achieve better, some people may not achieve better, but both might be effective also in this example which I was telling. Then see, what is the difference between equity, efficiency, and sustainability? Anyone? Equity, efficiency, you understood now. What is equity and sustainability?
Sustainability means continuous of the result, sir. I think so.
Equity?
The
Equity. What is equity? I think you should speak out. Anyone, who is closer to mic or,
Sir,
I can hear you.
equity in research refers ensuring fair and access representation, sir, in research process.
Yeah, access, like, is equity and equality same?
same.
Equity and equality same?
No, sir, equality is different.
Equal is different. See, equity is, what do you mean by equity and equality?
Uh, Treating everyone is same is equality, sir. And providing opportunities,
Based on the,
resources,
yeah,
with,
yeah.
equal for equals.
See, based on the need, if you give exactly so that all can come to all will come to one equal level. That is based on the need you
Can I
change.
give an example, sir?
Yeah.
Suppose giving all students the same textbooks is a equality, and providing additional resource to the students from underprivileged BC, OBC, that is equity.
That is what. Yeah, correct. Very good example. The equality is based on need. You give additional resources so that everybody will have, will be, their outcomes will be same, at the end. And that is what. Like you see, always if you look at the
Our reservation policy, sir. Our reservation policy.
Yeah. That is also one more example. Equity. One more example. Equality is different. Equality is everybody gives same. Irrespective of the income group, irrespective of the caste, creed, you give same. That is equality. But when you give according to their economic status, variable benefits, then it is called equity. Sustainability is not looking at only present generation but also future generation. Many a times, a project is there, a scheme is there. After the scheme is over, you cannot see the interventions. If there is a watershed, when the project is there is water. When the project is completed, you cannot see the structure also, you cannot see the water also. Is it sustainable, unsustainable?
Unsustainable, sir.
Unsustainable. Sustainability is even after the project, if you see water, even increasing water or water, then you can tell that it is sustainability. That is why, see, whenever we design research, we will look at the effectiveness, equity, but even sometimes we don't look at efficiency, we don't look at sustainability also. That is why many of the schemes they fail actually to generate outcomes, output, or impact after the scheme, because they discontinue. You need to see these differences. You need to clearly understand. Otherwise, you miss things and you write something. That should not happen. But at least after this class, when you are using these concepts, you need to be very clear what I am using, and you need to question yourself, whatever it is. Even in your real life also, if you think that whether it is relevant, whether it is efficient, effective, sustainable, you can avoid a lot of mistakes. You can correct yourself many times, not only for the project or scheme, but for ourselves. If you think also, it will help us. Coherence is something which is being added very recently by the UN. Coherence is, I told you, you go to beneficiaries, you ask beneficiary whether you have implemented whether you are beneficiary of a particular X program. Maybe if you take the PDS, public distribution system. Whether you are benefited from public distribution system. Yes, they will tell, you will ask everything, and how it has impacted you, you will ask. But there are many other schemes, which might help them indirectly to increase the nutritional status. You need to collect information from all such related schemes so that we know exactly how much each is contributing. Otherwise, this is overestimation. It becomes overestimation. That is why, for a same objective, if you take learning outcomes, there might be for increasing learning outcome, it is not only midday meal scheme. Maybe there is a ICT program which is running in that school, which is complementing the teacher and which is increasing the learning outputs. You need to collect information of that scheme also, so that we know exactly the school with ICT plus midday meal scheme is performing well. But a school followed by a school with the midday meal scheme. The least performing school is the school without midday meal scheme, without ICT. This is my hypothesis. I don't know. We have to try this hypothesis when we go to field in the same, all others conditions remain same. All these schools, how they are performing. By taking data, data, how many teachers, students, infrastructure, all explanatory factors. Explanatory factors we have to take. All of you understood?
Yes, sir.
Till now, any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. If you are clear, I'll move forward. Then this is actually any project cycle. It starts with project initiation, then project monitoring and evaluation. There will be a feedback, feedback. Then again, project or policy adjustment. If you look at, I have superimposed that the input, output, all those things. See, during project monitoring and evaluation, you should consider input, activities, outputs. Okay. When it comes to policy or project feedback, outcomes will come into picture. When it comes to project adjustment, impacts will help. All of it comprises the result-based monitoring and evaluation framework. You need to see where what comes, where what we should consider. This you need to keep in mind so that you will not get it. The same thing which I have even in the project cycle, they use the same kind of like you see, I told about input, output, all those things, but evaluation criteria you see here. Where relevance, are the services relevant for the beneficiaries? Does the project use its resources wisely? Efficiency, effectiveness means has the project achieved its stated objectives? Sustainability means will the project activities or results continue after withdrawal of external support? See, I'm just trying to tell you what components we need to take, whether the project has generated impacts. All these five, you have to remember this 5 formula: input, activities, output, outcome, impact, and relevance, effectiveness, efficiency, sustainability, impact. All these things, this 5 plus 5 you need to remember. If you remember these two, then I think it will be helpful whenever you get into this. If you are expertise in this, definitely I tell you, you have a lot of opportunities. Either in your academic, it will haunt you till you are till you are live in the academic ecosystem, or academic and research. Till you are there, it will be used, in one way or the other way. These concepts. This what is monitoring, what and when to monitor, like I already told, during the project usually monitoring is being done. If you look at these questions, see monitoring will stop at outputs, input, activities, output. Whenever you are doing monitoring means only these three aspects are there. If you look at some of the questions, are finances, personal material available on time and in right quantities and quality? This is something which you need to answer yourself, whether the finances, personal, both financial and physical resources are enough. Then are the activities being implemented on schedule or within time? Are the activities, these are activities, are the activities leading to for any project or scheme, you have to question this. You should, if you have these questions, you have to use these questions to elicit information. Then outputs, are outputs leading to achievement of how do beneficiaries feel about the work? See, goal is always long term. Measuring changes at goal level requires a long term time frame and is therefore dealt with evaluation, not monitoring. This is something which you need to be very clear. You cannot tell impact for the monitoring. You can tell, okay, activities, these are the inputs, these are the activities, these are the outputs. You have to tell only until outputs you can tell, but not really outcomes during the monitoring, because it is during implementation stage. See, it will answer, all these things will answer what is causing delays or unexpected results. It will tell us what is causing delays or unexpected results. Is there anything happening that should lead management to modify the implementation plan? These are the two questions it will answer. These are the two questions it will answer when it comes to monitoring. Similarly, when the evaluation is basically for effectiveness, efficiency, impact, and sustainability we do. If you look at this, see, evaluation, look at all these criteria. What changes did the project bring about? Are the benefits likely to be maintained for an extended period after assistance ends? Were the operation objectives consistent with beneficiaries' needs? This is something which we ask. Effectiveness, were the operations objectives achieved? Efficiency, were stocks of items available on time and in right quantities and quality? You see here, numerator denominator came actually. Within limited time, with good quality, Were activities implemented on schedule and within budget? See, these are all some things which you need to look at when it comes to the efficiency. See, I told theory of change is very complex, like, many interventions, many activities, there are feedbacks, all those things, whether short term, long term, medium term, like that. Log frame is very, like objective, it will go very, it is linear, it is non-linear. Theory of change is non-linear, there is lot of, you have to do all interventions, how one is related to other, and all interlinkages you will capture in the theory of change. That means all this linear, this log frame is linear, they call it as logical framework. Simple example, I have taken micro irrigation policy, see, training, micro irrigation equipment and capital. Training is an activity. All these things are equipment and capital, human resources required. The micro irrigation, when you give training, all those things, subsidy is there, people will adopt actually. So many number of people have adopted. Immediate outcomes are saving in water, labor, energy, higher yield, income. These are outcomes. But what is impact is income, food security, reduced greenhouse gas emissions. These are long term. It may not be like exactly immediate. This is an example which I have taken from micro irrigation policy. Similarly, forestry. Forestry, inputs are human resources, nursery, physical assets, activities, raising seedling, plantation activities, maintenance, all these activities. Output is quality seedling, better management, all those things. Outcome is well-wooded area. Finally, enhanced forest area, consequential benefits might be climate mitigation, carbon sequestration. All these are, like it is something, might be an impact. Commonalities and differences, which I don't want to explain. Okay, this is same. Okay. Now, different aspects of the scheme, like, see, in this statement, I want you to tell what is need, what is process, what is impact. Can anybody read and tell what is need assessment, what is process evaluation, what is impact evaluation? Can anybody read this statement and tell what is need in this underlined one?
Yes, sir. To address the low literacy level, that is need, sir. The government will deliver free textbooks to schools, that is process, sir. Passing rates and increase employment prospects of school leavers is impact, sir.
Okay, see, in a single statement, you have three things.
Yes, sir.
Need. I know the need, because of that, based on the need, I gave like my intervention is textbooks. I can evaluate whether the process, whether the textbooks have delivered on time. All those things I can see. Then impact. Impact is passing rate. All those things, like this is something, which only after completion of this course only we will know whether like passing rate also, even employment, whether he got placed. All these things we know only when he is completed. You keep this in mind. In the intervention need, then you have to have some interventions. When you evaluate that, it will be process evaluation. When the program is over, when the entire thing is over, then you can look for the impact. See, there are qualitative techniques, quantitative techniques. Usually qualitative techniques, they use many like in-depth interviews, focus group discussions, all those things. But major constraint with qualitative is it cannot really indicate what might happen in the absence of scheme. That is a major setback in case of qualitative methods. But quantitative, you can go for ex ante. That means before you can go for before scheme implemented, you can go for a baseline. Then implement the scheme, then collect again the information, then you estimate the impact. This is something very systematic way of looking at impact. You have a baseline, you compare with the baseline, and you have a counterfactual, that is control group, that means non-beneficiaries, and try to collect also. But whenever you are doing here, major concept is selectivity bias. I told a school, say a school which is very close to the city, and good teachers, They are paying high salaries. You cannot take a private school and a government school. All these things. Selection, when you are selecting, I think you need to be very clear in selection. Otherwise, this entire impact evaluation exercise becomes rubbish. It becomes useless. Huh? That means here selection of beneficiaries, sampling is very important. Huh? And the baseline. Many times, people don't go collect baseline information. That is why we cannot really know what is the impact of this intervention to a particular beneficiary. Maybe impact of the training to students. They may not exactly know, because they have not collected the baseline. What is the baseline? Whether in terms of IQ or in terms of knowledge, all those things. Methods, many, even you can use regression. Regression also, when what is the impact. If you look at this equation, I think those of you who have studied basic statistics, basic econometrics, if you look at this last equation, y is equal to alpha xi plus beta ti plus the error term. Basic evaluation formulation comparing outcomes y across treated and non-treated. Treated means beneficiaries, non-treated is non-beneficiaries. The T is dummy. I think you have studied dummy variables, right? In your statistics. Have you understood this equation?
Yes.
Y is the output. For example, if you take productivity, for example, I take rice productivity. Xi is, maybe I take some input, right? Basic formulation. Then there is a technology I want to see. The technology might be maybe is using some kind of hybrid, or technology might be training. The intervention might be training. Those who have gone for training, those who are not gone for training. Those who have gone for training, you will put 1, otherwise 0. If you run, I can see the coefficient beta will tell me the impact of impact of technology, or impact of training, impact of this will tell. You can when you do descriptive, you can translate the descriptive into the econometric estimation by using an equation. Such simple things will tell us many things. When we do descriptive, what happens before, after, with, without, we get the difference. Difference, we call it as impact. But here we look at system holistically. When you get into econometrics, see, productivity of rice depends not only on the input use, but also on something else, right? You can use all such factors plus your intervention as a dummy variable. The coefficient of dummy variable will give the impact of the intervention, right? Is it not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, understood or not?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Understood.
Okay, simple. I am telling. I see many times what we do. First we do descriptive, then we get into econometrics. Now I am teaching you same methodology works here also in the impact evaluation. We try to see the descriptive part before, after, whatever it is, to see the impact. Then we are getting into econometrics, which is a simple equation. You are taking a discontinuous variable or dummy variable for the intervention in the regression equation. This is something I told you. You have to collect baseline of both beneficiaries, non-beneficiaries, as well as before, after of both beneficiaries and non-beneficiaries. You take most of the research, 90% of the research in India, they don't take information of the non-beneficiary before and after. They don't take information about the beneficiary before and after. This is something which is very, they take, okay, they select non-beneficiary, they collect information at that point of time, but they don't for the beneficiaries, they collect the information at both points. baseline as well as the end line they will do. But when it comes to non-beneficiaries, they take only the end line and compare. That is not correct. Sometimes if you look at this graph, if you look at this, if there is pre-intervention, this is post-intervention. If you look at this graph, see, if you look at this graph with intervention, it has changed like this, right?
Oh, okay, sir.
But see, even the control group also will increase, right? The non-beneficiaries also will improve, right, over time.
Sir.
For example, you have got training maybe last year. Some of your colleagues have not got training last year, but in 1 year, even they will also improve, or they will also improve, or they don't improve also. There is some change, right, within themselves also, those who are not gone for training. If you look at the outcome, if you don't consider their baseline and those who have gone for training, both of them, then the problem is you are overestimating. To give simple example, I tell you, see, two farmers are growing tomato. See, for one farmer training has been given, the other farmer training has not been given. But two farmers, their yield levels are almost same before training. Almost both has had 10 quintals or maybe 20 tons. Both had 20 tons per acre. 20 tons per acre before training. And both, I went and collected both farmers' data. They were telling that 20 tons we are getting, sir, from the 1 acre, they are telling. Okay. Then for one farmer, I took him to agriculture college. I gave a training to him, training how to use resources, water, inputs, what are the, I gave training to one farmer. The other farmer, I did not give training. But this farmer, what happened? This farmer who have got training, next year after training, from 20 quintals to 30 quintals he has become. His yield increased from 20 tons to 30 tons. 20 tons to 30 tons. But the other farmer who has not got training, same neighboring farmer, he has increased, his yield increase is 22 or maybe 25 tons. 25 tons. I went for the endline survey. I asked this farmer who have got training. He told, my yield now is, sir, from 20 to 30 I have increased, sir. This farmer, the other farmer tell, sir, my yield increased from 20 to 25. Now, what is the impact of this training? Can anybody say?
Awareness of the schemes or production.
So what is the impact? I am telling, I told no. The intervention farmer who have got training, his yield increased by from 20 tons to 30 tons. But the farmer who has not got training, his yield increased also from 20 tons to 25 tons. I collected baseline of both farmers, which was 20 tons, which increased. Now, what is the real impact? I am asking, please estimate the impact of this training.
5 tons, sir.
5
tons.
Yeah, 5 tons. Usually, what if you look at reports, if you look at everywhere, you might see 5 tons or 10 tons.
5 tons, sir.
No, in the reports, many times what happens, they don't collect information of the baseline. What they do is they just take yield of yield of this non-beneficiary or people, and they will tell, oh, it is 10 ton. 10 ton. See, what I am telling is, over time, why you need baseline of both farmer who has got training, farmer who has not got training means, Only if you collect that information only, you will know exactly what is the impact. If you don't collect baseline of the people will do with benefit, without benefit, and they will tell the result. With benefit and without benefit, in this case 5 itself, no problem. In this case 5 itself. But usually many times what happens, we will be overestimating if you don't consider the baseline of the non-beneficiary. Understood or not?
Yes, understood, sir.
See, here the difference is this much. Difference is different. Difference is this much, we will tell. But actual difference is this much. Actual difference is this much. If I compare, see, 20 tons of the non-beneficiary, 20 tons of the non-beneficiary, and if I compare 30 tons of the beneficiary, it becomes 10, it becomes 10. Sometimes while collecting information also, we need to really look at what is the actual change. It is not that, okay, even the non-beneficiary might change over time, whether it is in a positive way or negative way. But you need to take both to estimate the real impact. Otherwise, we will overestimate. We will overestimate. Keep in mind that whenever you are doing the study, you need to collect information at both point of time to know the impact. Real impact. Otherwise, you will overestimate or underestimate the impact. No, these are some things, simple. I think many times, qualitative information also will be used. Qualitative information also will be used. See, there are Shadi Bhagya scheme is there. There is many times, people look at even qualitative information, trust, whether trust has increased, whether happiness has increased. But how do you capture this qualitative variable? You cannot, if you ask directly, because of marriage, whether happiness has increased. Can you ask such questions? Somebody should speak whether we can ask such questions while going for data collection.
No, sir.
It is a impact of Shadi Bhagya scheme, Shadi Bhagya scheme, or maybe something, whether marriages will increase happiness. Whether we can ask directly, we cannot ask directly, right? These are leading questions, we cannot ask. We have to indirectly capture through some other statements. Oh, like how many times you go for movies, how much time, quality time you spend together, all those things, these are indirectly you have to collect information, so that might be an indicator for you to generate happiness index. Happiness index. That is why, sometimes qualitative information, but you should not put anything leading questions in the leading questions when you are collecting information. Leading question means, are you happy? Means I will tell happy, yes. But when I ask, oh, how much time you spend, how much, all those things, you get more information about this. You keep in mind, these are something, impact is this one, this is this arrow mark, this difference is the impact. Marriage, if you take finance, microfinance, what is the impact means? This is the impact, income impact. I just showed you the difference, with the intervention, what can be the impact. When it comes to sustainability, I tell people, planet, and profit. People is social, planet is environment, and profit is economic. All these three dimensions are three pillars of sustainability. And sustainability means you need to look at equity, efficiency, and sustainability. That is also important. So equity means social. Efficiency means economic. Sustainability means environmental. These are linked. These are linked. You should not forget this. You should not forget. Okay. Now, now I think we'll stop now. Now it is 11:30, right?
Yes, sir.
No?
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
11:30. We will take a break for 15 minutes. We'll come back and continue our lecture. Okay?
Sir, PPT can share.
Huh? What? I could not hear.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay, okay. 11:45. We will
Okay,
again restart. Please go and have tea and come back.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
11:45. Sharp 11:45.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Three pillars of sustainability. Like this, I explained to you: people, planet, and profit. How it is also connected to social, economic, environmental, but also for equity, efficiency, and sustainability. How this is connected. This is connected. If you look at many times what we do usually, why I tell all normally we do cost benefit analysis. Whether it is discounted or undiscounted cost benefit analysis, looking at the benefit, direct benefits, direct economic benefits, and direct economic costs. This, if you look at some of the program schemes, projects, we need to also look at the other aspects like what is the social benefit, what is the environmental benefit, what is the environmental cost, what is the social cost. All these things we need to consider when it comes to cost benefit analysis. For example, if you take an example of metro, to that matter, if you take an example of metro, when you look at the ticket pricing, and as well as ticket pricing as well as the profits, if you are given a task of doing a cost benefit analysis, economic cost benefit analysis, whether like metro train facility will be economically feasible or not? Anybody answer? Metro train. I am giving a task to find out the economic feasibility of metro project. Anybody? I think even talk. I am given a task of economic feasibility of metro project. What kind of cost you are going to consider? I think anybody, you should speak. What kind of cost you are going to consider? Similarly, what kind of benefits you?
Some middle class, upper class, lower class.
No, okay. What are the middle class? I am telling economic costs, COSTS costs. Similarly, economic benefits. What you are going to consider? See, you are going to consider what is the maybe digging cost, investment cost, all these things you are going to consider, right? You need track, you need even that rails, train, everything you need. Then human manpower required for operation. All those things you are consider. At the same time, you will consider also benefits. Benefits usually what happens, price. The profits or maybe the income which is earned through tickets selling. For example, we use tickets, no, that tickets, the income. But when it comes to a long-term project, we use discounted cash flow technique, right? Usually the income we cannot gain. Investment is one time. Maintenance will be there, but the income will be every year. Income will be every year. If you look at only the economic costs, economic benefits, what will happen? A metro project, which is very good in terms of mobility, all those things. A metro project will become infeasible when you look at only economic aspects. But when you look at environmental aspects, for example, how many people who are using two-wheelers, they are traveling in the metro train? How many cars, how many people who are using cars, they are using metro? Like that, what is the health implication? If they would all use these cars and two-wheelers, the pollution becomes more. There will be pollution related health implications. If you quantify all these things, a infeasible economic projects become a feasible project. That is why when it comes to environmental benefits, environmental projects, which has not only economic implications but also environmental implications, you need to consider not only economics but also the environmental benefits, environmental costs, which is called social cost benefit analysis. Rarely people try to use all these things. You need to use it, but you might have not used it. But whenever you do some some kind of cost benefit analysis or impact, if it is a social project, if it is an environmental project, you need to look at not only direct costs and direct benefits but also indirect costs, indirect benefits, looking at all angles, social angle, economic angle, environmental angle, quantify them directly or indirectly, and try to include in the cost benefit analysis. Okay, that will really help to know the complete picture. That will help us to know the real impact from all sides. Otherwise it will be biased evaluation or biased estimate. It becomes biased estimate because you have not considered everything. See, examples I have given, like usually we consider private costs, private benefits, but you need to consider also social costs, social benefits. For example, example of social cost benefit analysis, a bridge construction. What issues we need to take? People displayed, green cover lost, saving in fuel charges. These are some items we need to consider while accounting. I've given some examples. Watershed projects, improvement in water table, green cover. You need to quantify them. There are techniques to quantify in terms of cost benefits. You need to use all those things. Parks. You need to consider also recreational benefits and health. Is there, or if how many people paying and going and visiting the park? If you take only these things, may not be complete. It becomes incomplete. That is why you need to consider also recreation, health benefits. If you take fertilizer and chemical application, you need to also look into effect on soil and human health. You need to quantify that and including the cost benefit analysis. Metro project, reduction in health cost, opportunity cost of time, contribution to environment, all these things are important. As you know, I think there is methodologies for social cost benefit analysis. You need to consider them while estimation. Only thing is adding these variables, in the cost benefit analysis. Cost benefit. See, the difference I am telling you. I told in usual cost benefit analysis, we use payback period, NPV, and IRR. Right? This is quantitative in nature. This is quantitative and qualitative in nature. Consider commercial values only in cost benefit analysis, but here social values. It is here, it is direct measurement as impact is apparent, but here it is in cost benefit, in social cost benefit analysis, it is indirect measurement as it impact may be latent or apparent. Here, usually discounted cash flow techniques we use payback period, NPV and IRR, but here there is a approach called UNIDO and LM approach. You have to study this approach in order to use this social cost benefit analysis framework. Here requires limited range of efforts, but requires unlimited efforts. That means you need to be really smart. You need to try to find out how to convert this qualitative information to quantitative information. See, I am being benefited by health, but how do you quantify them? Environment is being benefited. How do you quantify them? These are some challenges. And I think you have to include as a researcher, you should not do partial analysis. You should do complete analysis when it comes to some kind of environmental projects, environmental schemes, or whatever you do, which is connected to environment and social angle. See, the recent method which is there, everywhere, how people are. Why science is being so much accepted, but social science, not being much accepted because so science is they conduct experiments, they tabulate data, and they produce results and policy implications also they will take, and it is well accepted. These are very systematic. Sometimes temperature controlled, even lab controlled, all those things is there. But in case of social science, it is recall method. Going and asking for a person before 6 months, or maybe sometimes we ask information before 5 years, before 2 years. It is all subject to recall bias. Now what has happened is in social science there is advancement called randomized control trials. Randomized control trials means you will from the beginning you will have control over the experiment. For example, you have given training. From the beginning you have control over the train. He has taken training. What has really happened next day, like that. Continuously you collect information. Continuously you will observe, record data. That data is being used for analysis. That is that in research nowadays they are calling as randomized controlled experiments, which is two people who got Nobel Prize who worked on poverty. One from West Bengal based and other from France. They all did research on randomized control trials. For example, giving information, all such interventions, they collect information very rigorously, continuously from beginning, before the project, after interventions until the project completion. They have full information, almost at continuous information. It is not that one time before baseline collect, then at the end line you go. They don't do RCT. In the RCT, they try to control everything. They will observe who are the control group, how they are behaving, what is the change in them, what is the change with the treated group. For example, if they were given some kind of awareness about child marriages, how this is impacting. All these things, they will continuously collect information so that this information, whatever, it becomes more, to make it more acceptable, more robust. Our research approach has changed. This is the recent, RCTs. RCTs are now used in social science research. People tell, please, you conduct an RCT experiment. RCT experiment is extensively, earlier it was used for biological and medical research. Now it is used in social science research as well. If you look at this population of interest, treatment A, treatment B, treatment A plus B, control group, like that, randomized allocations are there. You will have, you can have 2 groups, 3 groups, then outcome or follow-up, compare results. They compare results. This is something called RCTs. Monitoring and evaluation, which I think you have heard much about monitoring and evaluation. Why, when, who, linked to logical hierarchy, which is called logical framework. We call it as logical framework. This is very important. Then okay, now see now it is an exercise actually. Though I am here, you are there. You need to tell anybody from your group who should read the statement and who should tell which statement belongs to which. Is it an input? Is it an activity? Is it an output? Is it an outcome or impact? Who would like to voluntarily read each statement and tell what is this? Whether it is an input, whether it is an activity, whether it is an output or outcome or impact. Quickly. If you have understood, you will easily tell us what is activity, what is output, what is outcome. No, it is a midday meal scheme, a centrally sponsored scheme providing nutritious meal to all students of government and government-aided schools. You can discuss. And I think one can present. One can explain me whether it is input, whether it is output or outcome. You can discuss. Who would like to volunteer? Read statement and tell what whether it is input or output. Anybody? Why all are silent?
So I will try, sir.
You try. Anyone, please try.
Okay, sir. A centrally sponsored scheme providing nutritional meals to all students of government and government-aided schools to improve nutritional status of children and improve attendance and enrollment. Providing food grains for cooking. That is
You should tell whether, see, providing food grains for cooking, is it an input or activity or output or outcome or
input, sir.
impact?
Input, sir. Input.
Okay. Similarly, you tell to all statements.
Yes, sir. Improvement in nutritional levels of school-going children. Improvement is outcome, sir.
Okay. We will see whether you are correct or not. We will see at the end. Okay. Improvement in nutritional levels, according to you, is an outcome.
I am having doubts, sir, whether it may be outcome or impact.
Okay. Then next.
Provision of adequate kitchen infrastructure and staff at school. Kitchen infrastructure. That is
That-
activity, sir.
Activity.
Okay. Then next.
Provision of free meal to children in eligible schools. Provision.
Activity, no, sir. That also.
Okay. Next. We'll see whether you are
Providing,
correct.
okay, so providing honorarium for cooking staff. That is impact, sir. Samples tested for hygiene standards.
What is providing honorarium for cooking staff?
Yes, sir.
What is that?
That is activity, sir.
Okay. Next.
That's input.
Samples tested for hygiene standards. That is output. Samples tested for hygiene standards. That is output. Capacity building and sensitization of staff on quality, safety, and hygiene. That is activity. Improvement in attendance in schools. That is outcome, sir.
We will see whether what you said is correct or wrong.
Sir, I don't know, sir. Just I tried, sir.
Yeah. We will see. That is what. See.
Okay, sir.
Inputs are financial and human resources. See, you need budget. You need also people to implement a program, right?
Yes, sir.
When it comes to activities, okay, you have budget, you have human resource. Providing food grains for cooking. You need food grains, right? Providing honorarium for cooking staff. Capacity building and sensitization of staff on quality, safety, and hygiene. Sample tested for hygiene standards. These are all activities.
Okay, sir.
See, output is my main output is see, with all these efforts, with the activities and your inputs, I need to provide free meal, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
many number of children in eligible schools are getting free meal. That is an output, right?
Yes.
I do all this, infrastructure, whatever it is, all these things. What? See, the thing is, sometimes, the output. Now my main aim is to provide free meals. I am doing all these activities with the budget and human resource to see that so many people got free meal. Okay. Sometimes, if kitchen, if the program has also one component, like if the many schools, they do not have adequate infrastructure for kitchen actually. See, you cannot see, you have to build infrastructure, right?
Yes, sir.
So many schools, so many number of schools who did which did not had adequate infrastructure. They try to give infrastructure. They try to provide infrastructure. Okay, these are outputs. See, outcomes are, see, you are providing free meal, there is adequate kitchen infrastructure, everything. Now, free meals are given. Oh, many a times, the poor class, below middle class, they will think, oh, earlier they were not giving earlier they were not giving, or they were giving only one time. Now they are giving 2 times, and they will also ask you to carry ration to home. Why? Maybe earlier the children were going for labor work, other things. What they will do is, now let us send, at least they will get food 3 times, and they will also bring some ration to our homes. Attendance percentage will increase. See, since there were free meals, people started coming to school also increases, because at least for food, they start coming. Finally, impact might be, see, when their nutritional levels might be very below, or maybe below average. When continuously they come for 6 months, 1 year, nutritional status will not improve immediately, right? The immediate thing what we do is attendance. I can see the impact of these meals in the attendance, right? But the long term is improvement in the nutritional status. If I am anemic, if I take anemia tablets, immediately my anemia level will not increase immediately. It will take some time, right? Body will take some time to absorb, then only. That is why they will tell, please come after 3 months, come after 6 months, we'll test. They will not test immediately, right? Understood?
Yes, sir.
This is how you need to demarcate. Impact is long term. It cannot be visible immediately. I cannot check today I give free meal, tomorrow I cannot check nutritional status. What I can check is attendance. Attendance, I can see improvement in the attendance level. All those things can be checked. That is why you need to see what is in each project. Things are different. I just gave an example of one project. One project. Similarly, in many cases, things are different. You need to clearly demarcate input, activities, output, outcomes, and impact. If you clearly have these, then immediately you can have variables. You can build in actually. You can build in, like, okay, number of children. The year number of children, the number of schools with infrastructure provision is given. Here improvement in attendance, maybe it might be 70%. Now it is 90% attendance, or maybe 100% attendance. Okay. The result saying these are like same thing. I put it when you put like this. When you put same variables, see, sometimes the variables should be measured. Otherwise, people don't. The variables should be smart. Key performance indicator should be smart. When it comes to activities, I cannot write qualitative statements. Quantity of food grains procured, amount of honorarium, number of cook come helper who participate in training program. When it comes to output, number of children benefited from midday meal scheme, percentage of schools with kitchen cum stores. You have to come out with indicators where you can collect information and have this information. Otherwise it is difficult. I have this key, developing, designing this key performance indicators also is very important. Here see, impact, percentage reduction in underweight children in government and government aided schools. This is an impact, like earlier baseline we have. After some 1 year, the end line you are going to collect information, then see whether their underweight issue is resolved or not. How many of them now, as per BMI, they are actually. How many of them are below BMI? Are comparing baseline with the end line to see whether there is improvement, significant improvement. There might be improvement, but significant improvement. See, when it comes to organizational evaluation, you have to also consider the same issues. But in case of organizational evaluation, because you might have, evaluate a public sector enterprise or evaluate an organization, you might also get some, see, doing an evaluation of a scheme is different. Doing an evaluation of an organization, I think you have to follow a different approach, which you need to think. See, in case of same input output, it will be there. Theory of change will be there, and the logical framework also will be there. But the only thing is, I don't want to see input. If you take road transport corporation of any state, if you take Kerala, if you take Andhra Pradesh, what are the input? Different service buses, new operations and management practices, adoption of new technologies. All these are inputs. Activities are efficient duty allocation for staff, regular operation and maintenance, real-time monitoring, bus, then conduct demand analysis and route, conduct staff training. These are all activities. When it comes to output, increase accessibility, uncovered villages, safety and security of passengers, increase the revenue of the depots. These are all outputs. Outcomes, cost-effective transport passengers, uninterrupted, high-quality service, reduced the utilization of accident relief fund. All those things are outcomes. The impact is increase the transport corporation share in GDP, economic development, increase in trade and social integration. All these things are long-term. This is how even an organizational evaluation also can be taken up. I am taking a road transport corporation, but you can do it for any company. You can do it for any organization, even whether it is academic or non-academic or profit-oriented. You can do. In this, what we should consider is we should consider managerial issues, managerial factors, operational factors, and financial factors. Any organizational evaluation which is profit-oriented, you need to consider managerial, operational, and financial. When it comes to non-profit, you have to take indirectly, you have to capture. But in case of profit-making organizations, you have these three components, and accordingly, you need to have variables to tell about whether they are generating enough profit or not. This is about organizational evaluation. If you look at the scheme, if you take like research, whatever research you do, PhD, or if you are working for a project, usually something is, okay, this is a scheme implemented in Karnataka, Samruddhi. It is implemented by Karnataka Adi Jambava Development Corporation. Now the scheme is, they give 10 lakh, 10 lakh is the benefit, which will be given to, 10 lakh received by franchisor to provide supplies or stocks of products of rupees 5 lakh. See, this is provided to women. Women up to 10 lakh, the franchisor will provide equipment, infrastructure, everything. Only thing is the beneficiary should have a shop and the lease agreement. 1 to 1.5 lakh is a franchisor fee. You will charge franchisor. For example, Nandini is a franchisor. Like that, many franchisors are there. Electronic goods. And like that, you can have a number of mechanic. You can have franchise from a well-known, who does repair. Like that, it will be a franchisee kind of business. where beneficiaries are women beneficiaries. If women should have these agreement and the shop, everything will be provided by government, 3.5 lakh for interiors and other equipment, all these things. If you look at sampling, whenever we do sampling, whether it is India or whether it is, like a particular state, you will have administrative divisions or agroclimatic zones. If you do a forest research, there is something called silviclimatic zones. Silviclimatic zones, they have also a classification based on the study. You have to, if you are doing agriculture related study, you can take agroclimatic zones as one of the criteria. When you are doing some other non-agriculture related, you can take administrative divisions of the state into consideration. When it is a forest, you can take silviclimatic zones. They have, you can take that as a sampling, because we always think that the sample size, whatever we take, should be representative and it should be statistically significant. Statistically significant, you should consider confidence interval, degrees of freedom, level of confidence, as well as margin of error. All these things you need to consider in order to estimate sample. I am not going to teach you how to estimate sample, but I am telling you, representation, how to take representation. This is a study which was done actually by ISAC to Government of Karnataka. See, the study, in this study, they have taken almost like 50% of the total beneficiaries for the evaluation period, whatever it is. Now almost 190 plus beneficiaries. Out of 190 beneficiaries, 87 beneficiaries have been taken, who have been benefited with 10 lakh franchisee scheme. The samples have been selected from all the 4 regions, Bangalore, Belgaum, Kalburgi, Mysore. Within each division, again, following probability proportional to sample. Probability proportional to sample. 3 districts have been chosen. 3 districts have been chosen. If you look at it, one is high, one is moderate, one is low, actually. Top line, it is all like, high, moderate, something. I think it is a combination of high, moderate, low. Such from 3 districts have been taken, and going there and collecting information. See, whenever you are taking a sample, I think, see, you are good in methodology, you are good in objectives. But if you are not good in selecting a representative sample, then entire research will be, useless. People will just question that, okay, your sampling is not representative. How can we take these results to the entire state? Whatever you are doing, actually, which should be representative so that it can be even used for knowing the state figure or all India picture. That is why many times we tell micro level estimates for macro level estimates are used for macro level estimates. With this sample, I can even calculate for the entire state. That is why when you are doing research, please see that you select a representative sample. In which sector you are taking, all these things you want to take into consideration. In this case, they had budget, there is a sample, some beneficiaries are less. That is why we could able to take 50% of the beneficiaries. In usual case, it is not say. It will be 1%, 2%, 3%. But how do you select that 1%, 2%? That is more important. How do you come out with this 1%, 2%, or 1.5%? It all depends on degrees of freedom and margin of error. Margin of error, especially on margin of error. How much margin of error, how much level of confidence, at what level of confidence you are selecting the sample. All these things are important. See, qualitative analysis, the study which was taken up, which has submitted the report, it has used different approaches like different case studies, focus group discussions, in-depth interviews. That is why whenever you take a study, not only you collect information from the beneficiaries, non-beneficiaries, but also you should have this kind of approach. You need to collect, successful case study, even a failure case study. You need to undergo focus group discussions and in-depth interviews. All this. Why I am telling is many times we are so biased. We collect only information, then analyze and put it in tables. Many times it is very difficult to get answers to some of the results. If you have combination of this qualitative and quantitative, then you will get real insights. It will also strengthen your results when it comes to interpretation of results. It will strengthen your results. That is why you need to always see that, okay, my research is such a way that I select a representative sample. At the same time, I will also see that I will also collect information through all these qualitative approaches, so that whenever I am writing, I think I have more information to explain the changes. See, usually, any research you take, usually what they do is gender, age group, all these things, classifications, education. These are all some things, basic socioeconomics, which any study will consider. In this occupational status, before accessing this, some of the scheme, some are unemployed students, some are private employee, farmer, school teacher, labor, computer operator. All these people have got benefit. I'm just showing the picture, macro picture. This scheme was introduced. This scheme is being benefited before baseline. This is called baseline, home baseline. Now, if you look at this scheme has benefited, 10,000, created 10,000 jobs, 4,000 entrepreneurs, support rupees 200 plus crore dispersed, already 200. See, some of the franchises are Milky Way Express, Cherry Tires, Blackbird, Juice Launch, Let's Transport, Tamara Fashions, like that, Chai Point, many things, the majority of the beneficiaries are Organic, Totodo, Prestige Home. This is macro picture. Whenever you take a study, usually you need to analyze also on the macro picture. If the data is available. This is a macro picture I am presenting, which is basically secondary data. Then type of activities, see how many people are with electricals and mobiles. Watches, luggage, and footwear is 16%. Hardware and garments is 16%. The lowest is education, book and stationery. The lowest. Dairy products is 1.3, also same. No, if you look at the primary data, this is primary data. If you look at this primary data, you see 87 covering all divisions. 50% of the sample is being considered. Basic training received by all 100. If you see their opinions, did training provide adequate, useful inputs for the running business? 60% has said yes, 40% has said no. You need to also collect information why they have said no. Maybe they are not getting enough, women are, even when somebody who is not a businessman, who is asked to run a business, they need some hand holding support. That is why, the information what we got is negative. Did you receive substantial training for setting up enterprise? See, only 27 said yes. Remaining 73 said no. That means we need to look at, I think, this program, whether it is really, enough preparation is there, enough hand holding is there, because it is a business. A person who has never have done a business, a woman who has never was in the business, she is entering into business. Is there any person from franchisee company comes to monitor how the shop is running? You see here, 13% said yes, 87% no. As most beneficiaries of the scheme are first-time entrepreneur with very limited knowledge, they want regular monitoring and handholding by the franchisor company. What from this slide? What do you understand? They have spent so much of money, but see, the evaluation will help us to know all these things. That means we have to look at all these issues to see that how we can correct these problems which are inherent in the system. Is it not? Anybody? What does this slide imply? Anybody voluntarily? Any volunteer?
Hello, sir.
What is your understanding of this slide?
Sir, ಈ ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಬೆನಿಫಿಷಿಯರ್ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಬಿಫೋರ್ ಮತ್ತು ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ನಂತರ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಅವ್ರ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಆ ಒಂದು ತಮ್ಮನ್ನು ತಾವು ತೊಡಗಿಸ್ತಾರ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಪಿಕ್ಚರ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗತ್ತೆ ಸರ್. ಆ ನಂತರ ಆ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ದೊಳಗೆ ಸರ್ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಇದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗತ್ತೆ ಸರ್.
Very good. See, basically, what it implies is whether they are getting enough support, their educational status, socioeconomic information. Whether I think scheme is whether if it is going in this direction, whether scheme will function correctly or not. If many people said no for many things, then it is very difficult for a scheme to succeed. Scheme to succeed. That means whatever women who are beneficiaries, they need some support, handholding support. Sometimes you put a mechanic shop, but there is no vehicles which is coming for a mechanic shop. You put a stationery shop, but there is no nearby
Yes,
school.
sir.
All mismatches will happen. That is why you need to say maybe this scheme will not allow to keep any other products. The franchisor will tell only you have to keep only this product. Maybe if you keep only that product, the business may not be feasible. All these things, when you do evaluation, you will understand. Top monthly average profit earning enterprises are vehicle servicing, food and beverages, hardware, garments. Low, these are all second primary data. When we go and collected information from the sample, watches, luggage and footwear, home appliances, electrical and mobile, these are lower monthly average profit earning enterprises. When we go and collect and ask them, they based on their information, this is being estimated. If you take monthly average profit by education, from this you could see those who are postgraduate, if they are running a business, they are getting a higher profit. That means education is directly related to their incomes. That means those who are educated, they are making more money compared to those people who have less education. Maybe because of their exposure, because of their linkages, they are doing something. Maybe they have assessed that okay, if I keep this business, definitely I will earn more income. That is why education is related to their income levels. Monthly average profit by revenue division. If you take divisions, Bangalore division is gaining highest because of the Karnataka has 4 divisions.
Yes, sir.
Monthly average profit is highest in Bangalore because of this urban influence. Might be Mysore also is near to urban influence. Belagavi and Kalburgi, it is North Karnataka and less avenues, less business, all those things. Because of that, the income levels are less. In this scheme, I am telling, in this scheme, if you take men and women, men and women are almost earning same. Firms owned by men, firms owned by women. If you take men and women, male, female, almost they are earning the same. Maybe in many cases, the issue is next slide. I will tell you. Next slide, I will tell you what is the reason why men and women incomes are same. Men run a business as well as women run business. Income levels. See, before it was no income. 47% of the sample did not have income at all. Now there is no individual in the sample without zero income. Now less than 5,000, 5.8% was there. Now less than 5,000. Now less than 5,000, 16% as it has become. Now 5,000 to 10,000, 27% were in the group of 27.1 before starting this business. Now 48%. 10,000 to 15,000, earlier it was 16.5% of the sample. Now it is 28. More than 15,000, 3.5% was there. Now 8%. Like that, there is a change. You could see before and after, their income levels have changed. Income levels have. This is how before and after you can check how much was the income before and now what is the income, what is the change. See, many times what happens, whether it is run by women or not, you need to check also, like men, women. Sometimes women is there, but in name, but men will be running the business. That is also there. Though some of the schemes are only for women beneficiaries, but it has happened. In one of the schemes, I will tell. These are some policy recommendations. If you could read, like see, one red colors are all something danger. Training given by the franchise is not good enough to run a successful business. If a business does not work, there is no opportunity to change the business. See, these are all drawbacks of the scheme. See, more problematic is the unsold goods are not taken back by the franchisors. Majority have not got support. PwC, which is an international consulting firm, which is a third party. See, you are starting a local business, but you have a international consulting firm as a partner. How they could come to local and train? It is difficult. These are all some things. Unless if you don't do evaluation or if you don't come out with all these things. Now the scheme government has stopped this scheme. After the study, they find that this scheme is not really good scheme because there is because of a lot of problems which we have showed. They told, okay, I think we'll come back and redesign the scheme and we will implement. Until that time, now I think now they have stopped this scheme. They will come back after plugging all these issues, whatever we have mentioned in the study. Like that, another study, same, input, output, all these things. Here, 5 to 50 lakh, they will give. Rate of interest is 10%. Social welfare department, they will give 4% beneficiary. It is for SC/STs. SC/STs. If you look at here also sampling, how sampling is selected, you see. What are the qualitative information, quantitative information, all these things. You need to have representative sampling so that, see, if you look at the map also, see, there is representation. When policymakers or when somebody want to take and study this report and take when they want to tell for the entire state, there should be representation. Otherwise, we cannot take this micro level estimates for macro level forecasts. This happens. This happens. You need to be very clear about what. See, these are some things. Same economic impact. Monthly income share before availing loan. Before availing loan, 0.5 to 1 lakh, 112 units were there. See, 1 to 1.5 lakh, 24 units were there. If you look at now, actually, there is a shift. See, 3 to 3.5 lakh, earlier there was 3 units, now it is 2 units. You see another 1.5 lakh before, see, after loan. I'm telling after what has happened. Share of monthly income after loan. See, you see changes, what has happened. 112 units were in the group of 0.5 lakh to 1 lakh. Now it has changed. The income composition after the loan has changed. Right? 34 units, 1 to 2 lakh. Then 44%, 2 to 2.5 lakh. See, this monthly income share before availing loan. This is share of monthly income after the loan. Share of monthly income after the loan. It is INR 0.5. See, I am telling about this is this group. This is this group. How the income composition has changed for these two groups. There is significant improvement in the income. See, enterprise management. See, though it is for women, see, managed by spouse, 90 units. 43% of the units are managed by spouse. Managed by self. That means only 57%. It is a woman beneficiary, only women. They give for a woman only, but by in the records it will be women, but the male will be managing the husband will be managing the enterprise. Now in all these cases you need to see that how we can empower them, women, so that she supporting is fine, But if husband will take care of full business means, then I think we need to see, I think some kind of training, awareness, all these things, handholding is required. Okay. Now the last aspect is, okay, see earlier, many cases we were taking physical and financial information and trying to see physical and financial performance. Now things have changed. They call it as output outcome monitoring framework. Output outcome monitoring framework. See, public accountability of every rupee spent by the government. Now if you look at this, importance is very high because outcomes. Earlier states, everywhere you are looking at okay, physical financial performance. Now you look at SDGs. They look at how much poverty we have reduced, how much hunger we have reduced, how many people who do not have houses, they got houses. We look at all these parameters. How many people, see how much we are mitigating climate, how much violence we are reducing, how much child marriages we are reducing. All these things now these are outcome based indicators. The SDG indicators are outcome based indicators. Earlier we were looking at only outputs. There is money we have spent, there are so many beneficiaries have been benefited. Now we are changed our trajectory, our vision, our whatever we call it as, from output and from output to outcome measures. That is why now if you look at many places, people tell me how much malnutrition this scheme has reduced. Tell me how much income you could able to increase. How much land ownership you could able to increase due to some scheme. These all things now it is being, now if you look at SDG, India's rating, India is having a score of 71. The highest is 100. We were in 2018, we were in 57. Now we improved from 57 to 60, 60 to 66, now 70. Our score is 71. Yeah.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I have one question. Here, the data of 21-22 is missing, sir. May I know the reason for it? Because my topic is this, sir, and I have searched for this all years report, SDG India Index, but I could not get the 22-23 report, sir.
22-23 report they had prepared, but they did not release due to some issue. But see, usually what happens, it is 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. There was some issue.
Okay.
What is that issue means? I will tell you.
Okay, sir.
See, problem is they had taken common data for all states.
Yes, sir.
Common data from common data source.
Yes.
Common data source to estimate the indicators.
Yes.
In some cases, some indicators, what has happened was there was no they did not do data collection.
Yes, sir.
They did not guard the census data. Census was not conducted in time.
Yes.
Data collection was not collected in time. They could not able to use those indicators for estimation of SDGs. That is why they waited, because like data collection is not some are monthly, some are daily, some are quarterly, some are yearly, some are 2 years once they collect the information. Some are 4 years, some are 5 years once they collect information.
Yes.
Because of these changes, they could not guard much information for many variables.
Okay, sir.
Because data collection was not done.
Okay, sir.
If they would have brought out this 21, 22 means, I think most of the database is from the 2021 itself.
Yes, sir.
Almost 60%.
Yes.
Not 60%, 40%. Only 60% was the new data.
Okay, sir.
That is why they want complete new data.
Okay, sir.
After all data collection was done, they in 2023-24, if you look at 23-24, 90% of the data is new data. which
Yes.
is not, which has not been considered in 2020, 21. Yeah, that is why if you want to compare also, you need new data, right?
Yes, sir.
And data collection is not done, as you know, like data collection is not done regularly. Some once in 2 years, some once in 1 year, some once in a month, like that. Data collection period for different different indicators are different. Dropouts every day.
Yes.
Sometimes the productivity is seasonal. You cannot have
Yeah.
productivity within a month, right?
Yes, sir.
Like that, because of that, they waited for some more time so that they have completely new set of data, so that we can comparisons can be made. Otherwise, comparisons. While doing all this exercise, they did also normalization, because some data sets are belong to some year, some data sets belong to some other year. Now to normalize, they use this scores and index. Scores and index. Normalization, how to do normalization, all those things. Okay. See, if you look at this, you see, entire India is, I am telling you, see how our output based has become outcome based. Like, see, red is aspirant, then performer, front runner, and achiever. Performer is 50 to 64, front runner is 65 to 99, and achiever is 100. See, now no state is achiever, right?
Yes, sir.
Front runner, we have I think most of the green areas now. Most of the green area, we are in front runner, 65 to 99 range, right?
Yes, sir.
Most of the states. Performer yellow, only one area in the northeast. Northeast. You get some yellow, but there is no aspirant actually. No aspirant. But let us look into indicators. You see red. Gender equality is red.
Yes, sir.
Zero hunger is red. Industry, innovation, and infrastructure, I think, okay, now I think we have improved. We are improved. Now we are in performer. See, what I am telling is our target is achievement. Achiever. We should score 100.
Yes,
But
sir.
from these colors, you could see that there is lot of potential for improvement. To shift from aspirant to performer, performer to front runner to achiever. In many of the goals, we are not doing well, actually, right? Wherever you see yellow in 2023-24, wherever
Yes.
we see yellow, I think we need to prioritize them first, then green, right? Well, I think red first, because SDG 5, gender equality, we are very poor. India's score out of 100 is 49. 49. That means there are a lot of schemes, all those schemes are there, but still we are not improving actually. Still we are in aspirant category. Neither performer nor front runner. I don't know when we will achieve 100. Even reaching front runner also, it will take some years. Right? Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, when it comes to states, you look at states, like always when it comes to state, Uttarakhand, among states, Uttarakhand ranks 79. Then Kerala. Kerala is always first. All 4 years, Kerala is first. Kerala, when you take overall score, actually. Now, if you look at Karnataka is roughly in the, see, this is Karnataka score, 75. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th place. It is in the 8th place. Though I think some states are, I think, from here, 8th place, it is in 8th place. They have not given decimal points, actually. They have not given decimal points. But when it comes to the states, Karnataka stands 8th place. Kerala stands first place. Uttarakhand first. Tamil Nadu second. Among union territories is different. You should not compare union territories. among states. There is lot of 100 is the maximum. 100 is the maximum, but still there is a lot of scope for improvement. There are some states like Meghalaya, Nagaland, Jharkhand, Bihar. See, their performance is very poor in sustainable development goals. Why I brought in this SDGs here is now everywhere, anywhere, people tell that, oh, you have to link to SDGs, SDG goals. Even when formulating objectives also, please see that, oh, you link to SDGs, your research. This kind of, exposure is more action. And now SDG is everywhere, people talk about SDGs. That is why what I want to tell you is that now from outputs we are changing ourselves to outcomes, and we are trying to see how outcomes can be changed. It is not how much budget is allotted, it is not how many beneficiaries have been benefited. Ultimately, my outcome is how much I have reduced malnutrition, how much poverty I have reduced, how much of gender violence I have reduced, how much of child marriages I have reduced. All these things are important. These are more to do with outcomes than outputs. This is something, which, if you look at this government of India every year when Nirmala Sitharaman comes out with a budget, she will also, there is also parallelly, there will be one more document which is being released and which is being accepted by the cabinet, which is called outcome budget. I think all of you should get into this Ministry of Finance website. I have given here actually. I think this DMU website bottom, and check, see how output variables have been formulated, how the outcome variables have been formulated, what are the targets, how this document is prepared. If you look at this document, you will understand how you can develop indicators. How you can develop indicators for your research topic, irrespective of any discipline, irrespective of any discipline. I am telling you, whether it is sociology or economics or any other discipline, it will help how a measurable quantitative indicator or maybe a very good qualitative indicator can be developed from this. If you get into, if you go to Ministry of Environment, you get all environmental indicators. You can see what is output indicator, what is outcome indicator. Like that. See, every year they come out with this output outcome budget. Actually, 53 ministries, Government of India. This document will have almost information of 53 ministries, 148 central sector and centrally sponsored schemes. They have taken 148 schemes, which are really big, massive. They have taken. The criteria is rupees 500 crore and above. They have considered those schemes which has a budgetary implication of annual budgetary implication of 500. Only they have considered such schemes because they want big schemes so that they can monitor these outputs and outcomes so that they achieve the sustainable development goals. I think somebody want to talk something. Then annual and quarterly monitoring of outcome. See, if you look at it, is a dynamic dashboard actually. It is a dynamic dashboard. If you look at that, you can select scheme. Regularly, it will be updated by the states. Accordingly, it will be reflected in the Government of India website. Yeah, I think all social scientists, even I think faculty should get into this website and check, how they develop this, the output and outcome indicators, how the output and outcomes are monitored actually regularly with respect to schemes. This is what, Jal Jeevan. I went to the website and I just took a snapshot of Jal Jeevan mission. See output, there is a scheme name, there is department name, there is ministry name, there is a allocated financial output, then output indicator, then outcome indicators, the targets also they have, quantified targets. This is all it is there in the website, all schemes of Government of India, which has a budgetary implication of 500 crore and above. You can see in this, it will give a lot of insights, Many a times we forget actually to what information is available, what information is not available. We don't explore much actually about the databases. We need to check databases and really use that for our research. Use that for our research. You see, Mission Shakti, what is output? Shakti, like women helpline, one-stop centers, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. How indicators are being constructed. Now, see, when indicators are good, you can measure it easily. You can measure it easily. Otherwise, you cannot measurement issue. In Karnataka also, they try to all schemes. They try to map to SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. Sustainable goals. Every year there will be in the economic survey. They will this year economic survey. Recently, 2 weeks back, there was a budget. There was an economic survey. They try to map all the schemes of government of Karnataka and try to map with the outcomes, which are sustainable development goals. Sustainable development. How much budget is how much additionality is required? How much is proposed? This is what they do actually. How much was allocated previous year? How much in order to achieve the targets of sustainable development goals for this year? How much additional budget is required? And this will be submitted before the budget also. But government also, some departments they will consider, some departments they don't consider. See, if I don't know how many people are below poverty line, if you don't use this information to the allocate budget, then it will be a big mistake. That is why data need to calculate how many how many people how much population is not having house. Based on that, what might be the unit cost? I can plan. Okay, if I have so much of budget, I can saturate everyone actually with house. I can saturate everyone with house in 5 years. I can have budgets can be, and there will be in 5 years there will be no one without house, or everybody will be with kacha house. Everybody will be with pakka house, not kacha house, pakka house. This is what we can do with the data. Now I think there is a shift, from the physical financial to outcome based approach. Accordingly, how much budget is required, all those things. But some departments are considering, some departments are not considering. I think it will take little time, to like see, so that when we plan everything as per the outputs, outcomes as per the outcomes, we can eliminate. Now we call it as 2047 is Amrut Kal. Vikasit Bharat, everything we tell, still people are dying without food, people are hungry, stunted, wasted, people don't have house, people don't have clean cooking, cooking fuel. Many people, even till today, many people are not having electricity. In the tribal areas, in the forest fringes. I think all these basic problems, water, house, all these things, at least by 2047, if we want to see that, okay, Vikasit Bharat or whatever Amrut Kal, after 100 years, we should not face all these issues. We have to plan by keeping the data, how much budget should be allocated to see that, okay, all these basic problems, at least basic problems, I tell you, access to clean water, food, I think, like all these things, I think we need to take care. Otherwise, like still, even after 100, 20 years, 30 years also, we'll have the same problems. People are dying without food, people don't have house, all these issues again and again, because we are not targeting. If we target properly, then we can if you have 5 years target or 10 years target, we could reduce gradually, and we could eliminate the problems. Why there should be under 5 mortality, or like premature deaths, all those things, because of facilities. If you have good facilities, if you have good support, definitely I think you will not have deaths can be minimized to the almost near to zero. All these things are very important. See, I told about monitoring and evaluation, how research outputs are important and how output, the focus has shifted from output to outcome. Many times, learning is also important. We do research, we do everything. We have to communicate this research output actually. Some good models we should replicate, all those things. And learning is also important. Learning should go as a feedback back to any project cycle or program cycle or schemes. This is something which is very important. Okay. Then how to build an effective MEL, like financial resources you need, human resources you need, block frame theory of change you need, effective database management system you need. All these things are very important for effective monitoring, evaluation, and learning ecosystem. Then, okay, all these things I have told, but still, MEL is a systematic approach to track progress, assess effectiveness, efficiency, sustainability, and continuously learn from projects and programs, policy also, ultimately leading to improved strategies and outcomes. See, if you do not measure results, you cannot tell success from failure. If you cannot see success or failure, you cannot learn from it. Monitoring is, if you cannot see success, you cannot reward it. Evaluation is, if you cannot recognize failure, you cannot correct it. Monitoring is, if you cannot reward success, you are probably rewarding failure. But evaluation is, if you can demonstrate results, you can win public support and social participation. Yeah, this is something, power of measuring results. Power of measuring results. That is why, like this has become a very good domain, and having a lot of importance. You use one way or the other way, either in your PhD research or in your projects or day-to-day life. I think the concept which I have taught today, I think which will help actually to you to really shape your career, to improve your academic record. Thank you. Any questions? I hope you have understood, right? Any doubts? Any doubts?
No, sir.
No, sir.
You understood?
Can you share this PPT, sir?
Yeah, I will share. I will share a PPT with the.
Sir, please. PPT share me, sir, please.
I will send that to these organizers. Sidhu, I will send that. I think you will
Okay,
share with
sir.
all of you. I think this is very important. If you even study in depth in each of the slide, and I think this becomes your skill set.
Yes, sir.
Later
It's
you.
very important. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬಹಳ ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಸರ್ ನಮಗೆ ಇದು PPT ಒಂದ್ಸತ ರೀಕಾಲ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಈಸಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ.
ರೀಕಾಲ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಎಲ್ಲದಕ್ಕೂ ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕೆರಿಯರ್ನು ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಬ್ಸ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದೆ. ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಸೈಂಟಿಸ್ಟ್ಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಇದು ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಜಾಬ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ಸಿಕ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ, ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ಯು ನೀಡ್ ಟು ನೋ ಇಟ್. ಅದರ್ವೈಸ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೋ, ಅಂಡ್ ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ, CGR, UN organizations, international NGOs, many people they look at, people lack how to do it actually. Data analysis, but many things, they put a lot of money, but they want the monitoring and the evaluation report actually. If you develop a skill set in this area, definitely it will be helpful. And for your research also, many people, whatever I have taught today,
Yes, sir.
I think it touches on most of the things: how to formulate objectives, how to formulate hypotheses, how to do sampling actually, how to communicate research output, what should be considered, whether we should consider only outputs or outcomes, whether we should link to SDGs, all these questions, whether you take report or project, or whether you take PhD research. I think these things will help actually to strengthen your understanding about research methodology.
Sir, yes, sir. You are absolutely right, sir.
Okay. I have given my number also in this number, mobile number, email ID also. If you have further, anytime if you have any questions on, basically I am an applied econometrician, but I thought I think this is a field where people should understand actually, learn something. I thought, okay, I did not have much time. Otherwise, I would have taught you how to difference in writing a report, scientific paper, and another. I think how write-ups will what a PhD thesis should have, what a report should have, what a paper should have. I wanted to tell also on that, but since due to lack of time, I could not because this is a big topic. Actually, there is a course actually, 3 months course, 3 months course, 1 month course, 2 weeks course, like that. People, this entire in monitoring and evaluation MEL is for 6 months people study, 3 months people study,
Yes, sir.
2 weeks people study. If you type courses on monitoring and evaluation, it is not for 1 day or half a day. It is for it is more than that actually. But I try to concise it such a way that you get. I try to include most of the aspects, so that it is only elaboration of these aspects in the courses. If you could check this course content of some paid courses, it is elaboration of, and I try to use my own experiences actually, my own examples, working in different projects, so that you get a feel of these concepts.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Sir, thank you, sir. Hello, sir.
Welcome. Welcome. You are always welcome. My number is being given. I think since I am not there, because I am not used to this online. Usually, like when it is so face to face, it will be good. Like in my course, if I teach 1 hour, 50 or 30 minutes, I will ask students to talk or participants to talk, participants to tell answers. It will be totally interactive. I tried my best actually being here, because yesterday I was in another methodology course training at Tumkur University. I went personally. That is why yesterday from 2 to 5, 5:30, I was 2 to 6. I was at Tumkur University to teach methodology course to different. It is also methodology course. There were participants across the country from many states. People were. Today morning, immediately I could not travel. That is why I told I will teach online. Anyhow, I tried my best to impress, make you understand whatever possible. I hope, I think you have understood something on monitoring and evaluation. And in future also, if you have any doubts, any clarifications, you can contact me. Yeah, in my slides, I have given my mobile number, email ID. Okay.